Welcome into another video. This time we're going over the round 5 of the NFL draft, picking out some of these targets that you may be looking at for your fantasy football rosters. I'm going to go over all of these guys today. First guy I'm going to talk about here is going from the Denver Broncos, Audric Esme. This is one of my favorite running backs of the class. Audric Esme, he was at first my number 1 running back, then I had Jonathan Brooks and a couple of others ahead of him. He ended up trickling down a little bit as I started doing even more film work. Audric Esme, a big body running back, more of a 3-down prototypical type of back. Let's just look at what he did at Notre Dame. You got look at Audric Esme, 5'11", 227 pounds, 1,341 yards rushing, 18 touchdowns, 142 yards receiving, and no receiving touchdowns. Now, just because he didn't have a lot of receiving work, we have to remember at Notre Dame, it really wasn't a receiving type of offense. That was more of a, run style offense and a passing offense, right? So not really much for the running back position. He wasn't really asked to do any receiving work there. So just because he has low numbers don't mean he can't do that, but he has a big bruising back. And in most cases, he will be looked to do that, right? But Javonte Williams is in his way. So what is Javonte Williams' role? Does it go forward? Will he end up staying with the team or not? I don't know. But as of right now, Audric Esme is not really high on my pecking order. Let's just look at the depth chart. We look here at Bo Nix being the starting quarterback, Javonte Williams, Samaje Perine, Jaleel McLaughlin, another running back that I like, and then Audric Esme, Cortland Sutton, Marvin Mims, Josh Reynolds, Troy Franklin, another wide receiver, and Greg Dulcich at the tight end position. So overall, we don't really know what we're going to get from Audric Esme. He would be an excellent dynasty running back to pick up for you. As far as redraft goes, I'm not really too high on Audric Esme. I think Javonte Williams is the bell cow back. Samaje Perine will probably spell him. And then you'll see Audric Esme just sprinkle in a few rushes here or there until he can get his feet wet and end up taking over a more larger role. But overall, not really a redraft option, more of a dynasty asset for you. Next guy we're going to go over here, going with the New Orleans Saints, talking about Spencer Rattler. He could be the Sir Coming, taking over for Derek Carr in a few years. I think he is a huge talent added to the New Orleans Saints, and being a Saints fan myself, I'm super excited to have Spencer Rattler. We got to remember, he started at Oklahoma, ended up losing his job to Caleb Williams. Then he went over there to South Carolina, and he still was able to produce at a high level. He's got all the talent in the world. He was once even thought of being the number 1 overall pick in the draft coming out of high school into college. Very, very highly touted quarterback. He just fell back just because he had Caleb Williams ahead of him. So look at what he did last year at South Carolina. Spencer Rattler ended up with 6'1", 217-pound quarterback, 3,186 passing yards with 19 touchdowns, 104 rushing yards, 4 rushing touchdowns as well. He can get it done in all aspects, right? He's got the talent to hit all intermediate throws, all of his short throws, all of the deep throws. He has all the tools to be a successful quarterback. I think he would be an excellent dynasty quarterback. Again, somebody not for redraft leagues right now. I think Derek Carr's got the keys to the car literally for the next probably 2 years with the New Orleans Saints while Spencer Rattler is developing. I think Jake Haener, the quarterback that they got out of Fresno State just last year, I don't think that's going to work out for him. Anyway, I think Spencer Rattler will be that number 2. Let's just look at the depth chart real quick. We're going to talk about Derek Carr there at the quarterback position. Spencer Rattler, I think, will be the number 2 quarterback there. Alvin Kamara, Kendre Miller, Jamal Williams, Chris Olave, Shaheed, and A.T. Perry, wide receiver I'm really high on, and then Jawan Johnson at the tight end position. I think overall the Saints got themselves a steal of the draft in the 5th round, getting a quarterback of the caliber of Spencer Rattler. A lot of people are down on this guy because of whatever his past history was and all of that. I'm not worried about any of that. I'm worried about what goes forward. He has the mechanics, he has the skills, and he has the ability to get the job done. I'm excited to see what he can do. I think he'd be a great dynasty asset for your roster. Next guy we're talking about, we're going over through the Baltimore Ravens, talking about Rasheen Ali, that running back from Marshall. He's another guy that I really like. Extremely elusive, can get all in and out of his breaks. He's kind of scary in the open field, making some nice solid moves. Rasheen Ali could be one of the biggest dark horses of this draft, in my opinion. Let's just look what he did last year at Marshall. Rasheen Ali, 6 foot, 209 pounds, 1,135 yards rushing, 15 touchdowns, alongside 213 receiving yards and a receiving touchdown on top of that. Like I said, he's got an opportunity there, but he's got to beat some guys out first, right? Derrick Henry's going to be there for a few years. He's going to end up retiring. Keaton Mitchell, he was very, very good with the football. Maybe he can beat out him, and maybe even beat out somebody like a Justice Hill or something like that. We'll just have to see how it goes. Let's look at the depth chart and see all the tools and all the jump ropes he has to go through, right? Quarterback position, Lamar Jackson, we already know that is in seal it and forget it type of role. Derrick Henry, Keaton Mitchell, Justin Hill, the guys that I was talking about before, ahead of Rasheen Ali that he has to work through this depth chart. Zay Flowers, Rashad Bateman, Nelson Aguilar at the wide receiver position with Devontae Walker, the wide receiver out of UNC going there as well, the rookie, and then Mark Andrews and Isaiah Likely at the tight end position. there's opportunities here, right? There's opportunities here for Rasheen Ali to succeed. Not this year, probably not next year, but in a couple years, you can see Rasheen Ali being the stud running back for this offense as soon as Derrick Henry lets go. As long as he can keep on and showing in the NFL what I saw on film, I am super high on Rasheen Ali. Next guy I want to talk about here is going to be Tyrone Tracy, that running back going over there to the New York Giants. We have to think about it. The only thing that's ahead of Tyrone Tracy right now is Devin Singletary, right? So I think he's going to get all the opportunities to be able to be the man. I like how hard it is for Tyrone Tracy to be tackled, right? Let's just look at the depth chart and see what's going on. At the quarterback position, we see here Daniel Jones at the quarterback position. Devin Singletary, as of right now, I do have Gary Brightwell and Eric Gray ahead of Tyrone Tracy on the depth chart, but I think it's going to be easily Tyrone Tracy as the number 2 running back behind Devin Singletary when the season starts. Malik Neighbors, that highly touted wide receiver out of LSU, should be number 1 there with Jalen Hyatt, Wandale Robinson, Darius Slayton, Darren Waller, and Daniel Bellinger at the tight end position. Don't forget about Theo Johnson as well. I think we had him in a few videos ago talking about him just a little bit with the Giants as well. But Tyrone Tracy is somebody, I think if you are in a dynasty league, you can draft this guy. And hear me out. Even in a redraft league, there's a good chance Tyrone Tracy by the end of the season could be the number 1 running back for the New York Giants. Make sure you grab this guy on your roster. His running ability and running style, and I love, like I mentioned it earlier, I love how hard it is to bring this guy down. He doesn't go down on first contact. I absolutely love that. Going over the next guy here, we're talking about from the Jacksonville Jaguars, Keelan Robinson. This is a guy that played in Texas, right? University of Texas. He was behind Jonathan Brooks. He was able to do some things, right? I think he had a really good combine. I like the way that he was running out there. Looked really, really good in his drills. I think Keelan Robinson could have a good opportunity, but again, somebody I probably wouldn't target in redraft. Probably somebody I wouldn't target in dynasty. Just somebody that's not really going to have the opportunity. I still like Tank Bigsby ahead of this guy. Let's just look at the depth chart real quick so you can kind of see what I'm going over. You know, Trevor Lawrence, we all know that he is going to be the quarterback there. You know, Travis Etienne Jr., Tank Bigsby, Dearness Johnson, all ahead of Keelan Robinson right now. I just think Keelan Robinson has the ability. I think he's worth at least mentioning, but he's not somebody that I'm actively trying to go get. So overall, just somebody just kind of leave off of your roster, right? The last guy we're going to go over today, somebody I'm actually pretty high on in Dynasty, is going to be the quarterback Jordan Travis out of Florida State. So the Jets ended up picking him up to be kind of the circumvent of the Aaron Rodgers show, right? So we saw what Jordan Travis was able to do early on in the season, coming out the gates, beating LSU, right? It looked really, really good. Florida State looked really good. When he ended up going down with injury, we saw Florida State struggle winning games. I think that is just what he brings to the table. He is a winner. Learning underneath Aaron Rodgers could be huge for his career. Let's look at what he did last year prior to his injury. Look at Jordan Travis, 6'1", 212 pounds, 2,755 yards passing, 20 touchdowns alongside 176 yards rushing and 7 rushing touchdowns. Like I said, he is only a dynasty play. He is by far not a redraft play whatsoever, but I think he's going to be able to learn behind one of the best quarterbacks in the NFL to ever play the game. And I think by the time his number is called, Jordan Travis could be a stud of a quarterback. Let's look at the depth chart real quick to see that. He's just sitting right there behind Aaron Rodgers and Tyrod Taylor at this point. I think eventually Jordan Travis, really, he's there just to learn and to grow and to be the guy. Eventually, Breece Hall, Braylon Allen, another running back that they drafted, Isaiah Davis, another running back that drafted, Garrett Wilson, Mike Williams, Xavier Gibson, Malachi Corley, somebody we mentioned in an earlier video, and then Tyler Conklin at the tight end position. Guys, these are just some of the guys that I was interested in into the 5th round. I think overall, you can kind of pick and choose some of these guys, more dynasty picks than redraft picks. But guys, hit a like button. I really appreciate it. And make sure you're subscribing to the channel, as most of you guys are not subscribed, who is watching right now. Guys, leave a comment down below. Are there any of these guys in the 5th round you are excited about drafting onto your fantasy team? Can't wait to see you guys on the next video. We'll see you guys next time.